Lando claims he is ready to make the biggest title comeback. Lewis has been advised on Ferrari improvements and all the latest F1 news. It's the story of the decade. Lewis Hamilton, the most successful driver in F1 history, leaving the German powerhouse of Mercedes to join the most iconic, most storied, and most pressure-filled team in all of sports, Scuderia Ferrari. It's a dream narrative, a fusion of legend and legacy that has sent shockwaves around the world. But not everyone is buying the fairy tale. In fact, one of the most important figures in recent Ferrari history has just thrown a bucket of cold Italian ice water on the entire idea. Mattia Binotto, the former team principal and architect of Ferrari's last championship contending cars, has once again voiced his deep skepticism. He's not just questioning the move, he's fundamentally questioning whether the very essence of Lewis Hamilton can survive the brutal, unforgiving reality of Maranello. Today, we're breaking down Binotto's bombshell comments. This isn't just gossip. This is an insider's perspective that exposes the immense cultural gamble Hamilton is about to take. Chapter 1. The Binotto Verdict, a direct quote from the architect first. Let's hear it from the man himself. Speaking to Swiss outlet Blick, Mattia Binotto was asked about the Hamilton-Ferrari union. His response was stark. "I appreciate Lewis and his greatness. He is a great driver, an incredible driver, but I again have my doubts about this marriage. Ferrari is a unique team. It requires a certain type of driver, a certain mentality to handle the pressure, the politics, the weight of history. It is not for everyone. It is a different world to what he is used to." He then added a crucial technical point often overlooked in the glamour of the move. The 2026 regulations are a complete unknown. It is a big risk for any driver to change teams at such a time. You are betting on a project that does not yet exist on paper. For someone of his age at the end of his career, it is a brave, or perhaps foolish, gamble. This is more than just an opinion. It's a diagnosis from a man who spent his entire career inside the Ferrari system. He's highlighting two distinct threats: the cultural shock and the technical gamble. Chapter 2. The Culture Shock, Mercedes versus. The Ferrari universe. Binotto's primary concern is cultural. To understand it, we must contrast the two environments Hamilton is moving between. The Mercedes way, the German machine. Under Toto Wolff, Mercedes has been a model of Anglo-German efficiency. It is a methodical, data-driven, and stable environment. The chain of command is clear. The culture is one of calm, collective problem-solving. Hamilton has been the crown prince of this kingdom for a decade. He has had immense influence, a stable engineering team, and the unwavering support of the entire organization. It's a corporate powerhouse that happens to go racing. The Ferrari way, the Italian opera. Ferrari is not a company that goes racing. It is a racing company that sometimes sells cars. It is an emotional, passionate, and politically charged institution. The pressure from the Italian media, Tifosi, Corriere dello Sport, La Gazzetta dello Sport, is relentless and brutal. The expectations are astronomical. Every decision is dissected, every failure is a tragedy, and every win is a minimum expectation. The team is constantly under the microscope of its parent company, Fiat, and its executive chairman, John Elkann. It is a pressure cooker. Binotto himself was ultimately consumed by it. Hamilton's leadership style, open, vocal, and spiritually focused, is a product of the Mercedes environment. Binotto is questioning whether that style can thrive or even survive in the intense, traditional, and often chaotic world of Maranello. Chapter 3. The 2026 Gamble. Betting on a ghost beyond the culture. Binotto highlights the immense technical risk that many are choosing to ignore in the glamour of the story. The clean sheet of paper. The 2026 regulations are a total reset. New power units, new aerodynamics, new chassis rules. Every team is starting from zero. This was likely a key selling point for Hamilton. It's a chance to build a car around him from the ground up, rather than inheriting a concept designed for another driver, Charles Leclerc. The Ferrari factor. However, as Binotto knows all too well, Ferrari's recent history with regulatory resets is mixed. They started the 2022 season strongly, but were eventually overtaken by Red Bull's development pace. The pressure to get it right immediately will be immense. Any early struggle in 2026 will be magnified 1,000 times by the media and the Tifosi. The The age factor. Hamilton will be 41 years old at the start of the 2026 season. He is signing a multi-year deal, so this is likely his final contract in Formula One. If the 2026 Ferrari is not a winner from the outset, he will have no time to wait for a recovery. His final years in the sport could be spent in a frustrating midfield battle, a far cry from the storybook ending he and Ferrari are envisioning. Chapter 4. The Counter-Argument. Why Binotto might be wrong. Of course, this is not a one-sided argument. There are compelling reasons to believe Hamilton can succeed where Binotto thinks he might fail. The final challenge. Motivation. Hamilton has achieved everything there is to achieve with Mercedes. The challenge of lifting the Ferrari team to an 8th championship, a feat not accomplished since Kimi Räikkönen in 2007, is the only thing that can motivate a driver of his accomplishments. This isn't a mere contract, it's a mission. His global stature. Hamilton is not just any driver, he is a global icon whose fame transcends Formula One. This gives him a layer of protection that previous Ferrari drivers did not have. The team needs his star power as much as he needs their legacy. This could grant him unprecedented influence and insulation from internal politics. Fred Vasseur's leadership, the Ferrari that Hamilton is. Joining is not exactly the same as Binotto's Ferrari. Team principal Frédéric Vasseur is a no-nonsense operator and, crucially, has a long-standing, strong relationship with Hamilton from their days in junior formulae. Vasseur is likely building a structure that can support Hamilton's unique needs. Conclusion. The greatest gamble in F1 history. Mattia Binotto's doubts are not those of a bitter ex-employee. They are a sobering reality check from a man who knows the soul of Ferrari better than almost anyone. He is right to point out that Hamilton is walking away from a perfectly calibrated environment into a glorious but volatile pressure cooker. He is right that betting his final chapter on an unproven 2026 car is a monumental risk. However, great drivers are defined by great challenges. For Lewis Hamilton, the lure of the prancing horse, the dream of wearing the red suit, and the chance to achieve the impossible one last time outweigh the stark warnings from those who have been burned by the fire before. The collision between F1's most methodical superstar and sport's most emotional institution will be the defining story of 2025. Binotto might be wrong, but his warning ensures we all understand the stakes. This isn't just a driver transfer, it's a high-speed collision of cultures, and we cannot look away. For years, we've known the raw ingredients were there. The blistering, natural one-lap pace, the razor-sharp racecraft, the cheeky personality that made him a fan favorite. But for Lando Norris, the final piece of the puzzle, the one that separates great drivers from world champions, was always missing. The relentless, unshakable mentality to handle the crushing pressure of a title fight. The narrative was that when the heat was on, Norris could crack. A mistake in Brazil 2021. The struggle to convert poles into wins. These were the marks against his name. But something has changed in 2024. A switch has flipped. A new Lando Norris has emerged, and it's a version forged not in victory, but in adversity. And according to a growing chorus in the paddock, this new mental fortitude is precisely what makes him the favorite for the 2025 World Championship. Strap in, because today we're dissecting the making of a champion and how Lando Norris turned his greatest weakness into his most powerful weapon. Chapter 1. The Crucible. From nearly man to Miami Maestro. To understand the significance of this transformation, we have to look at the journey. For the first 5 years of his career, Lando Norris was the nearly man. The first win eludes him. He racked up a record number of podiums before his first win, each near miss adding to the weight of expectation. Sochi 2021 was the most painful example, leading the race in the wet, making the wrong call on slicks, and seeing the win slip away. It was a moment that could have broken a driver. The McLaren roller coaster. He endured seasons in uncompetitive machinery, fighting for points while his close friend and rival George Russell was getting a Mercedes shot and even a win. This period, while frustrating, built a resilience and a deep connection with his team as they worked through the struggle together. The Miami breakthrough. Then came Miami 2024. This wasn't a win gifted by luck or a fluke strategy. This was a statement. He qualified on the front row, kept the pressure on a struggling Verstappen, and when the opportunity presented itself, he pounced and never looked back. He didn't just win, He managed the gap, controlled the pace, and delivered a champion's drive under immense pressure. The floodgates didn't just open, they were blown off their hinges. Chapter 2. The evolution of a mentality aside, mastering adversity. The Miami win was the result, but the change happened in the mind. We've seen it in real time this season, from frustration to focus. In the past, a bad qualifying or a strategy mishap would be met with a frustrated, sometimes defeatist radio message. Now, the tone is different. It's analytical. It's focused on solutions. In Canada, after losing the lead due to a safety car timing misfortune that was arguably out of his hands, there was no despair. There was a reset and a fierce drive back to challenge for the win. He took the adversity and used it as fuel, embracing the battle. Earlier in his career, battling wheel to wheel with a titan like Verstappen might have seen him concede position to live to fight another day. Now he goes toe-to-toe. The fights in Imola, Canada, and Spain weren't just about points. They were about sending a message. He is no longer intimidated. He believes he belongs at the front. The team leader voice. His radio communications have evolved. He's not just a driver giving feedback. He's a leader problem-solving with his engineers. There's a calm authority. He trusts the team, and the team, in turn, is galvanized by his newfound belief. This symbiotic relationship is a hallmark of all great champions. Chapter 3. The 2025 Perfect Storm. Why everything is aligning. This mental transformation isn't happening in a vacuum. It's coinciding with a perfect alignment of factors that make a 2025 title bid not just possible, but probable. The McLaren rocket ship. Under Andrea Stella's leadership, McLaren has produced a car that is, on its day, the fastest on the grid. They have successfully addressed their slow-speed corner weakness and now have a machine that is competitive across a wide range of circuits. The development war with Ferrari and Red Bull is being won more often than not. They are no longer underdogs. They are contenders. The Red Bull turbulence. While still the benchmark, Red Bull is no longer the invincible force of 2023. Internal tension, the potential departure of Adrian Newey, and a car that seems more difficult to drive has left Verstappen looking more human. The gap has closed, and Norris has already proven he can beat him head-to-head. The Ferrari juggernaut. While Ferrari will be stronger with Hamilton, they will also have a new dynamic. The intense inter-team rivalry between Leclerc and Hamilton could work to the advantage of a clear team leader like Norris at McLaren. He is the undisputed number one, with a teammate in Oscar Piastri who is blisteringly quick, but still playing a supporting role in the team's championship quest. Chapter 4. The Verstappen Blueprint, the final hurdle. To win the title, Norris must do one final thing: become as ruthlessly consistent as Max Verstappen. The Max Factor. Verstappen's greatest strength is his ability to extract the maximum from every single session, even when the car isn't perfect. A P2 finish on a bad day feels like a win. He minimizes losses. Norris's next step. Norris's challenge for 2025 is to bring his Miami Imola level of performance to every race weekend. He must eliminate the off weekends where he qualifies 7 and has to fight through the pack. Championship seasons are built on relentless podium scoring consistency. This is the final layer of his evolution. Lando Norris is no longer the promising youngster. The adversity he faced, the near misses, the years in the midfield, the personal doubts didn't break him. It forged him. It tempered his talent with a spine of steel and a champion's mindset. He has the car, the team, and now, crucially, the mentality. The F1 world has been waiting for a genuine long-term challenger to Max Verstappen's throne. In Lando Norris, we are witnessing that challenger emerge in real time. He has conquered the adversity within himself. In 2025, he is poised to conquer the entire Formula One world. The boy from Bristol has become a man on a mission, and the grid has been put on notice. In the high-stakes world of Formula One, words are never just words. They are weapons. They are strategies. They are carefully crafted messages sent through the media to manipulate, to influence, and to gain a psychological edge. And when you're a 7-time world champion about to embark on the biggest challenge of your career, you choose your words like a grandmaster moves a chess piece. Recently, Lewis Hamilton heaped extraordinary public praise on Adrian Newey, just as the design genius is linked with a move away from Red Bull. To most, it was a simple compliment. But to his old rival, a man who knows the inner workings of his mind better than almost anyone, it was something else entirely. Nico Rosberg has seen the move, and he's called it. And in doing so, he's exposed what could be Ferrari's single greatest weakness in the battle for supremacy. This is the story of mind games, master designers, and a secret war being fought behind the scenes. Chapter 1. The comment Hamilton's innocent praise. Let's set the stage. Lewis Hamilton was speaking to the media, and the topic of Adrian Newey's potential availability came up. Hamilton didn't shy away. He leaned in. He said, "Adrian has such a great history and track record, and he's done such an amazing job throughout his career. He would be an amazing addition to any team. Any team would be fortunate to have him. He's got such a great mind. I see him being a huge benefit to any team." On the surface, this is a respectful and professional acknowledgement of Newey's genius from one all-time great to another. It's what you'd expect him to say. But as Nico Rosberg was quick to point out, when it comes to Lewis Hamilton, nothing is ever that simple. Chapter 2. Rosberg's Decryption. The mind games begin. Nico Rosberg, watching this from the analyst's chair, didn't hear a compliment. He heard a strategy. He immediately decoded the message for what it was. This is Lewis Hamilton playing the game. He's putting it out there publicly. He's basically giving a public job offer to Adrian Newey. He's saying, "Hey, Adrian, look, I'm going to Ferrari. It would be amazing to have you there too. Come join me." It's a classic tactic. He's turning up the heat, trying to influence Newey's decision from the outside. Rosberg's analysis is razor sharp because it comes from lived experience. He battled Hamilton for an entire season, not just on track, but psychologically. He knows that Hamilton is a master of applying pressure in every dimension possible. This public praise is not aimless. It's a targeted strike with several objectives: to flatter and entice. It directly appeals to Newey's ego and his known desire for new challenges. It positions Ferrari, and specifically Hamilton's project within it, as the ultimate challenge. To publicly associate Newey with Ferrari, it creates a media narrative that links Newey's name inextricably with Ferrari, making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. To signal to Ferrari's management, it's a not-so-subtle message to John Elkann and Fred Vasseur. This is who I want. Make it happen. Chapter 3. The Ferrari Flaw. A history of talent mismanagement. But Rosberg didn't stop there. He used this moment to pinpoint what has been Ferrari's Achilles heel for over a decade: their inability to secure and manage top technical talent. The problem for Ferrari, Rosberg continued, is that they have a history of not being able to attract the very best technical minds. Or when they do, they can't create an environment for them to thrive. We've seen it before. They have a very rigid, traditional political structure. It's the Italian way. For someone like Newey, who thrives on creative freedom and a clear technical hierarchy, that can be a problem. This is the brutal, unvarnished truth. Ferrari's technical department has been a revolving door of brilliant minds who couldn't quite make it work under the intense pressure and politics of Maranello. Aldo Costa, now a Mercedes legend, left after internal struggles. Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne delivered gold, but the structure couldn't be maintained after they left. More recently, figures like Mattia Binotto were promoted and then ultimately consumed by the political weight of the role. The question isn't just can Ferrari sign Adrian Newey, it's can Ferrari build a structure around him that allows his genius to flourish without the internal politics that have stifled so many others before him. Hamilton's comments are a public push to force that very change from the outside. Chapter 4. The Newey Domino. The ultimate prize. Why is this so crucial? Because Adrian Newey isn't just another engineer. In the context of the 2026 regulation revolution, he is the ultimate strategic weapon. The 2026 factor. The new rules are a clean sheet design. This is where Newey's value is incalculable. His ability to find a loophole to conceptualize a radically different and faster solution is unmatched in the history of the sport. The team that wins the 2026 title will likely have the best brain interpreting those new rules. The Hamilton-Newey Dream Team. This is the final missing piece of Hamilton's Ferrari fairy tale. A dream team of the most successful driver of all time and the most successful designer of all time, united at the sport's most iconic team for one final assault on history. The narrative is almost too powerful to ignore. Red Bull's nightmare. Losing Newey, especially to Ferrari, would be a catastrophic blow to Red Bull's long-term dominance. It would signal a fundamental power shift within the sport. The psychological war for F1's future. Nico Rosberg has pulled back the curtain. What we are witnessing is not just a driver transfer, it is a multi-layered, high-stakes psychological war. Lewis Hamilton is already fighting for his 2025 and 2026 championships, not in a simulator, but in the media headlines. He is using his voice to recruit the sport's greatest ever designer and, to pressure his future employer to modernize its structure to accommodate him. It's a breathtaking power play from a driver who understands that modern F1 titles are won in the wind tunnel and the design office long before they are won on the track. Rosberg, the man who beat him at his own game once, is watching from the sidelines and can only smile. The mind games have begun, and the first move has been made. The relief was palpable. After a summer of struggle, of being hunted by McLaren and Ferrari, of internal tension and external doubt, Red Bull Racing finally returned to the top step of the podium at the Temple of Speed, Monza. Max Verstappen was back to his dominant best, leading from pole to flag. The headlines wrote themselves, "Red Bull is back. The champions reawaken. The slump is over." But behind the champagne showers and the celebratory radio messages, a more troubling question remains. Was this victory a true renaissance, a sign that Red Bull has fixed its fundamental issues? Or was it simply a mirage, a perfect alignment of track-specific strengths that papers over the cracks that McLaren and Ferrari have already exposed? This isn't just about one race, it's about the entire second half of the season and the brutal development war that will define the championship. And today, we're arguing that the Monza win might be the most dangerous thing that could have happened to Red Bull because it risks hiding their single biggest problem. Chapter 1. The Monza Mirage, a track built for Red Bull's strengths. To understand why this win might be deceptive, you have to understand why Monza was always going to be a strong circuit for Red Bull, even in their weakened state. The low drag requirement. Monza is the lowest downforce track on the calendar. It's all about minimizing drag for straight-line speed and maximizing mechanical grip for the chicanes. Since the beginning of this regulation era, the Red Bull has been the most efficient car. It creates phenomenal downforce with minimal drag. This is Adrian Newey's genius. Even when their peak downforce isn't what it was, their efficiency ceiling is still incredibly high, hiding the weakness. The RB20's primary weakness in recent months has been a nervous rear end and a difficulty in managing tire temperatures in long, high-speed corners, the kinds of corners that define circuits like Barcelona, Silverstone, and Suzuka. Monza has almost none of these. Its corners are mainly heavy braking zones and slow-speed chicanes. The track layout actively hid the car's biggest flaw, the Verstappen factor. Let's be absolutely clear, a significant portion of this victory was down to Max Verstappen. His qualifying lap was otherworldly, extracting every ounce of performance from a car that was perfectly suited to the track. He is the ultimate amplifier of a car's strengths. This wasn't a victory born from a major upgrade or a fundamental fix to the car's balance. It was a victory born from a circuit that played directly to the car's inherent, pre-existing strengths. Chapter 2. The persistent problem, the nervous rear end. The core issue that has plagued Red Bull since Imola has not been solved. It has been circumvented. The technical root. The problem is believed to be related to the car's aeromap and its sensitivity to ride height changes. When the car rolls or pitches under braking and cornering, the floor's performance becomes unpredictable, causing the rear to suddenly lose grip. This is why we've seen Verstappen, the best driver in the world, fighting the car, making uncharacteristic mistakes, and complaining of a lack of confidence. The development war. While Red Bull has been working to understand and fix this fundamental instability, McLaren and Ferrari have been bringing aggressive upgrade packages that have added performance. McLaren in particular has made staggering progress to the point where they now have the fastest car over a single lap at most circuits. Red Bull is fighting a two-front war, one to fix their own problem and another to keep up with the raw development rate of their rivals. Winning at Monza doesn't mean they've won either battle. Chapter 3. The proof is in the pace, the bigger picture. If you want proof that the rebirth narrative is premature, you only need to look at the stopwatch on tracks that don't suit the RB20's specific profile. Austria and Silverstone. These were warning shots. McLaren was faster. Lando Norris should have won both races. Red Bull was hanging on, relying on strategy and Verstappen's brilliance to steal victories. Hungary and Spa. These tracks exposed the issue. The car looked vulnerable. The gap to the competition was gone. Verstappen was having to fight, not dominate. The upcoming gauntlet. Look at the calendar after Monza, Baku, Singapore, Austin, Las Vegas, Suzuka, Qatar. These are high downforce, bumpy, or technical circuits that will brutally expose any lingering instability in the Red Bull. If the car is still a handful in Suzuka's high-speed S's, then the Monza win will be revealed as the outlier it likely is. Chapter 4. The Psychological Danger, Complacency versus Urgency. This is the most insidious risk of the Monza victory. In the high-pressure world of F1, perception can dictate reality. The everything is fine narrative. A win can create a false sense of security within the team. It can quiet the internal critics and ease the pressure from management. The urgent, panicked drive to find a solution can be replaced by a more complacent, we're back on track mentality. For Red Bull, who are already facing the distraction of internal power struggles and the potential departure of key technical figures, this is a dangerous path. The wake-up call that wasn't. The string of difficult races was a necessary wake-up call. It was a signal that the competition had not only caught up, but potentially surpassed them. A bad result at Monza would have reinforced the urgency to fix the car. A win, however fortuitous, risks hitting the snooze button on that alarm. The victory that masks the truth. The Monza win was a brilliant display of maximizing your strengths. It was a testament to Red Bull's strategic execution and the sheer, undeniable talent of Max Verstappen. But it was not a rebirth. It was not a comeback. It was a mirage. The true test of Red Bull's championship medal is not behind them. It's directly ahead. The circuits coming up will probe the car's weaknesses mercilessly. The development race is hotter than it has been at any point in this regulation era. To believe the hype of a rebirth after a single, circuit-specific victory is to misunderstand the brutal technical reality of modern Formula One. Red Bull didn't solve their problem at Monza, they simply drove around it. And until they find a real fundamental fix, they remain vulnerable. The crown is still on their head, but after Monza, it's sitting more precariously than ever.